What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Oh, yeah.
I am Brandon. Alongside me always is Andrew. Today, it is Dirty Harry versus Magnum Force. Do you feel lucky? Alright, welcome back to Macho Movie Madness, everybody. We are doing a versus today. Cool versus, I think. I love the Dirty Harry movies. And I haven't seen them in a while. In fact, long enough that I forgot half the plot to both of them. And we talked about them several years ago on the channel. But
yeah.
Anyway, we're doing a versus of the first two, pretty much the cream of the crop of the series. It's a pretty decent series, but these are the best two here. And they're really comparable in probably quality.
Right. IMDb has the original about half a point higher than Magnum Force, and we're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very close. Yeah. It's very close.
So I got to ask you one question. Do we got 6 categories or only 5?
Well, I don't have an answer. No, I do. It's going to be 5 today.
All right. Well, that works.
We'll do 5 because I think we can do 5. We don't have anybody else's picks because this is just a me and you versus. So Dirty Harry, first one, comes out 1971 on a budget of $4 million, directed by Don Siegel, who did a lot of
tons of Eastwood
movies, yeah. Which I hopefully we can cover some more Eastwood on this channel because this has been really fun. Budget was $4 million. Box office came in at $36 million. So pretty good. I don't have a budget for Magnum Force. Couldn't find one, but I'm guessing it's pretty comparable. Yeah. It's got to be, maybe it's a little bit more, but I'm guessing it's really, it's got to be probably in that 4 to 10 mil range.
Right.
I feel like it made 44.6 mil at the box office.
Not bad.
Yeah. So I'm just guessing on the budget, but I'd say it can't be more than probably 10. I wouldn't think.
No.
Ted Post was the director of Magnum Force. It came out in 1973. 5 categories today for the verses to determine which is the better of the two. We're doing story, setting, acting, action, and best antagonist or bad guy. I guess, do you have anything else you want to say before we get carried away?
No, let's get right into it,
Let's get carried away here.
So in Dirty Harry, you've got Clint Eastwood as Inspector Callahan, and he's one of those cops. He's kind of your typical hard-nosed. He may have been the first, I'm not sure, but he really walks that fine line of is it too much or is it not?
Yeah. He's a lot quicker to pull a weapon before, than a lot of the, this, you can see where the shift in police force, and you got a lot of politics involved, stuff like that. You have to determine what is the right thing to do here and he's really quick to shoot somebody.
And I think it's the mayor that asks him in that movie, he's like, well, how did you come to that conclusion that the guy was a killer? He's like, when I see a guy chasing someone with a knife and a hard-on, it's a pretty easy decision.
Yeah, it's pretty, and even the mayor's like, yeah, he's got a point there. So yeah, I mean, you definitely blur that line. It's an even bigger question in the second one when you actually are dealing with the vigilantes
who are crossing the line.
You are crossing the line, and even though I think they really flirt with that in the first one, he is still very much he's by the book for the most part. It's kind of weird because the way he acts like he wants to go outside the system all the time. He does things his way, but he also operates kind of within the system too. He doesn't want things to get out of control because he knows that there's never when does it end? Yeah, there's not a good solid stopping ground when you start taking matters into your own hands. Even he says, well, what's to say it doesn't increase where next time you're shooting somebody for a bad traffic stop, you're jaywalking, or you're shooting your neighbor because his dog pisses on your lawn. And that's, and he I understand the point there.
Yeah.
So there's lines that he will cross. There's ways that he's not conventional that he will do. He will cross those lines, but he doesn't want to, just take out anybody and everybody
just for the hell of it.
Yeah. So and usually, even though everybody gives him shit for being the first to draw his weapon, he usually isn't. Usually he just does to protect his ass.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a lot of politics and stuff involved. You were saying the first,
you basically have the Scorpio Killer played masterfully by Andrew Robinson. He's
kind of a nod to the Zodiac.
Yeah, he's very off kilter. He's playing the entire police force, and Dirty Harry has to bring him down, and that's your plot of Dirty Harry. In Magnum Force, it's a couple years later, and you have these rookie recruits come in. They're really good shots.
Yeah.
And
fresh out of the academy.
Yeah, Harry kind of takes a liking to him. But there's been all these vigilante killings and they can't figure out who's doing it. And slowly, piece by piece, he figures out that these rookie cops are part of this death squad.
Yeah.
That are taking justice into their own hands. And like we said, where do you draw that line? Yeah. And so he has to draw the line. We'll get into more of that later, but it's basically him trying to figure out, and the chief of police is dirty, or actually I guess he's the lieutenant.
Lieutenant, yeah.
And he's dirty and trying to deter him from finding out.
Yeah.
Go check on this
guy. But you don't find out till really close to the end.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But yeah, and that's when Harry has to make that decision. Okay, yeah, I hate the system. And he says, I hate this system, but until someone comes along with something better that makes sense to me, then I'm going to have to follow.
Yeah.
At least for the most part, I got to follow it. So anyway, what do you want to do story-wise here? What do you think?
I'm going with Magnum Force.
Magnum Force 2?
On this one. There's just a little bit more to it with them trying to throw him off the tracks, off the scent of who's who. And then, they start hunting him. I like the point in the story where you actually see him on like a firing range. And, they're doing this exercise and it's Davis's gun and misses one on purpose and loses the competition.
On purpose.
So he can come back and get that casing.
Yeah.
And not casing, but shell.
His shell, yeah.
And take it to ballistics. And there's just a little bit more to it. And I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. The first one's good. It's got a lot of memorable moments and the bad guy's really good. And we'll talk about the bad guys later. But as simple as I love the Zodiac Killer stories. I love stuff like that. But I think I agree with you. Just having this internal struggle with dirty cops and trying to figure out who's doing what is a lot better. And there's a little more layers to Harry even in this than the first one. The first one's kick ass. And I also really enjoy some of the little subtle dry humor in this. Like when he's in the airport, it's stuff that most people won't catch. But if you just watch how Harry does just normal things, like he just always happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like the first movie, he's there at the beginning with the bank robbery. He's just eating, and he's like, "Shit,"
Is that car still parked out there?
Yeah, he's like, "Shit," and he just knows. And he was at the airport eating with his partner in the second one in Magnum Force, and he sees some trouble with all the authorities in the airport, and he's like, oh, and so he takes his burger and he just nonchalantly he just keeps eating his burger and he keeps walking and he just casually strolls like I'm gonna go be nosy, but I'm gonna do it casually and coolly because it's Clint Eastwood. But if you never notice this, like there's a row of people sitting there waiting for their flights, and this guy's got his legs crossed, but they're like sticking out. And instead of going around, Harry just walks straight, steps over him, and then turns the corner and he just eats without missing a beat. He just takes a bite and he's just eating. He's just too cool for school.
Yeah.
And he just kind of just casually walks in. He's like, what's going on in here? Yeah,
there's a lot of things in this movie like that. Like that hamburger scene where they're talking about this gruesome scene that and Early can't eat his food because every time he starts to, they're talking about something gruesome that's happened. It's funny. Yeah.
And then, you also have Charlie in this, played by Mitch Ryan, and he's kind of off his rocker. He's had a lot of issues, and he's divorced from the wife or separated from the wife, and he's got kids. And Harry goes over for dinner, and so you see his interaction with kids.
Yeah,
and he's just like a stone cold guy, but he's not always stone cold in this.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to the character.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I'm going to go Magnum Force 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so Magnum Force takes that one. See, I knew we could do this without other picks. Come on. Surely we can get through this without a tie. Okay, setting. Both in San Francisco. I will say they're...
Pre-defecation in the streets.
It's not as bad. But, man, it was so gorgeous. Like there's the shots in both of these movies are amazing, guys. If you haven't seen these movies, you have to. Just for 71 and 73, these are some big... They feel so big.
Yeah.
They feel like big scope movies. You have these wide shots from the top of skyscrapers, and you see the bridges in the background, and you see everything, all that beautiful landscape there. I mean, that's one thing. As crazy as California is, they got some beautiful land out there.
Yep.
At least they used to. They still do. But they really show that off, and they show this city off in this movie, and even as bad as everything is in this city with riddle of crime, and everything, it still looks gorgeous, especially during the day. It's hard to pick. I guess you can pick different scenes and the locations they use within the city on this. Otherwise, it's the same thing. It feels very similar.
Yeah, there's one shot, and it's the very opening shot of Dirty Harry. This is going to make me probably go Dirty Harry on this. Where first of all, Scorpio's up on the top of the skyscraper, and he's got his sniper rifle looking at this girl in the pool. And, of course, he shoots her. And then Callahan comes up to inspect the crime scene. And he walks all the way around. They do this panoramic shot. And you see all of San Francisco. It's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. I agree. Yeah. That's the one that sticks out to me the most. But they've got some really cool hill shots in the second one, too. Yeah,
where he's chasing those Guidos around in the car.
Yeah. Well, even when one of the cops were up there getting ready to shoot the pool party.
Yeah.
There's some really cool visuals up there too. It's a tie to me. Probably it could go either way. I guess we can come back to it and pick something. I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to pick one here, or I think if I could edge it out for a pick, if I had to pick, I would probably pick Dirty Harry just because of all the rooftop scenes that you see, and you can really get a good visual.
All the places he makes him run in the city when he's got that briefcase.
Yeah,
with the money. I like that, even though some of them are really, really dark. Even on Blu-ray, it was pretty dark. Yeah. But like you see him running through this tunnel, and he gets accosted by these people, and it almost makes him late. I like all those. I like the dilapidated ship he goes on in the second one, and has the fight with the rookies. But I think I got to go Dirty Harry.
You go Dirty Harry?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it to Dirty Harry too. It's so close, guys. It's like I can almost do a tie, but I don't know how it's going to end with both of us in these picks. I'm going to say it's so close for me. If you're conclusively going to go Dirty Harry, then I can edge it to Dirty Harry. Acting, oh man, really close to the same. Again, everybody's good. There's not anybody who stands out as bad or as cheesy, really. Even in that time frame, there's nothing. Like, everybody does their part well in both movies.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna have to lean towards Magnum Force, though. I think there's more moving parts. There's more people involved. The cops are pretty good at playing pretty innocent, and then but as the story starts to unfold, they kind of do a really good job at changing the demeanor of these cops along with the viewer, as the viewer starting to find out stuff. It's like the viewer and Harry kind of find out with each other.
Little pieces at
a time, and then the whole feeling of those cops and how they act change along with it. And I don't know if that was deliberate or if that was just you feel that way because your realization. I don't know, but I think it's done really well. And I like the lieutenant in this.
Hal Holbrook.
Yeah, Hal Holbrook is awesome. You're going to actually see several people that you might recognize. The Pimp is actually in, I think, the first 4 Dirty Harry movies. Yeah. Just playing different characters.
Yeah, he was the guy in the beginning. Do you feel lucky, punk? That's him.
Yeah. I got to know. Man, I like the first one.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about the antagonist because we're going to do that in a minute, but he was good, man. The Zodiac, the help me out, Scorpio, yeah. Scorpio was
Andrew Robbins.
Yeah, he was really good in this. I'm gonna have to lean. I think I'm still going to lean Magnum Force.
Yeah,
there's more people. Yeah,
I like Magnum Force a little bit more on the acting side. Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, the character is a little more nuanced in this, and he does a lot of things like you're talking there on that airplane. That just the little things he does. I was telling you earlier this week, the scene where the girl's like, hey, what does it take to go to bed with you? Yeah. And he does this, if you watch the scene, he does this double blink, and it had me rolling.
Yeah.
It's like it's real subtle, but he does it, and he's like, have you tried knocking on the door?
Yeah.
And just some of the things he does in that movie, I like a little better than his performance in the other. There's some characters in Dirty Harry that I like better. Like, I think I like his partner, Chico Gonzalez, which is funny. He played Gonzalez in Cobra.
Yeah.
Which Andrew Robinson was also in. Little connection there. But I think I like him a little bit better than Early.
Yeah.
Because he had this dilemma, do I stay on the Force or not? But,
yeah.
But I think I'm with you. I think I got to go Magnum Force.
I really like Early too.
Yeah.
Okay, so Magnum Force. So we are 2-1. Magnum Force.
I like how they were taking bets on how long Early would live.
Yeah. You want to get in on this? What? It's like, what's that all about? You want to tell me what that's all? Oh, they're taking bets on how long you're going to live, my partner. Okay, action. There's good action in both of these movies. You know, obviously running around the city trying to make it to the next phone so he won't kill the girl. Really, the whole bus interaction with the kids, he's trying to sing with them and keep them calm, but also like he ends up hitting one of the kids.
Yeah,
I think there's obviously more action in the second movie, but there's good action in both of these. Man, I don't know, that the end. I love that end shot, by the way, of him just standing on the bridge.
Yeah,
as he kind of like
the bus comes over the hill.
Yeah, he just like happens to know where he's taking them somehow.
It's total Batman shot or something.
Total, right? Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. Yeah, he's just such a badass in that first movie, man. And he's a better fleshed out character in the second one. But anyway, action wise, I mean, it's not like this is an action movie. It just has good action and a good shooting. What would you say on this one? I'm gonna have to. I feel like I gotta lean Magnum Force.
I think I gotta lean Magnum Force
just because of all the car chase scenes, the scene with the lieutenant at the end where he's got him at gunpoint. You got the plane scene,
yeah,
and of course the entire the shootout at the docks, which was a setup where Sweet got killed, and then at the very end on the ship, it's just like there's just a lot more to it.
Yeah,
there's some really good, there's a good chase scene and stuff like that at the end of the first movie. But it's just, I guess it's really nothing.
It's a little more on the drama side in the first movie.
It is, because you're dealing with one killer and you're dealing with, trying to pinpoint who he is, which we find out who he is really early on, so it's not a mystery to us. Yeah, I think you just have to go Magnum Force, right?
Yeah. I like it, even though we both agree Davis's death in Magnum Force is one of the stupidest things we've ever seen.
Yes. Oh my God.
Where they're both on a bike on top of this ship, and Harry takes his bike down, and Davis goes over the top, and what is that, 30-foot drop? Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe 25.
I don't know how he died.
Yeah, we cannot figure out how he died. If you go back, we did a Dirty Harry retrospective. I know our buddy Chris said, well, he had the helmet and maybe hit the water. No, the helmet was there on the ship.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry kicks it off into the water.
Yeah.
So how in the world did he die?
I don't know. Paper mache character, just like in Death Wish.
Yeah. Wow.
These 70 movies are wild, man. That's really the most egregious thing in both of these movies, I think.
Yeah.
That's kind of a point against it, but up until that point, it was great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ending too with the lieutenant was awesome.
Oh yeah, where he takes the bomb that they were trying to blow him up with.
Yeah.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah, I love that. You're a good man, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
And good men have to know their limitations.
Yeah, I'd like you to know that I've never drawn my gun once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. He said, "You're drawing your gun, Lieutenant. Your gun is out, Lieutenant." So you have to go Magnum Force, I guess. Okay, well.
Which gives us a winner.
Which gives us a winner, which I kind of am not even that surprised about, because I as much as iconic as Dirty Harry is, Magnum Force is a cooler movie.
Yeah.
It's a better movie. Best antagonist, though.
This is where we might differ. I don't know. What do you got?
So I was back and forth because I love the crooked cop thing, and this is before you had a shit ton of movies that were crooked cop movies. Then I love the Zodiac killer theme. I think the only reason why I want to edge it to Magnum Force is because the cops all played their parts way better and more sinister, including the crooked lieutenant. I think they played that better than the killer, even though I think that he was played very masterfully in a way, but at the same time, it just he's such a puss.
He is in a way, but he hired a guy. He spent $200 to get himself beat up.
He did,
yeah,
he did. I will say that. I guess that's true. Other than that, he just seemed like once he kind of got he got shot in the leg and he was kind of like pinned against the wall. He's like, oh no, this it was just weird.
Yeah,
to take this guy seriously, but he was unhinged, which does make him dangerous because you don't look at him as a threat.
Yeah,
and I guess that's the point. I don't know. I'm really on the fence.
I like that he was totally random. Well, I don't guess you'd call it totally random. Like at one point before they spot him with the helicopter, there's like these two gay guys walking, and he's looking for somebody to shoot, and he's kind of like bingo. There, like. You can't figure out how the guy's thinking.
Not usually.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about Magnum Force is that whole parking garage scene where they're like you're either with us or you're against us. And he's like, well, I'm afraid you've misjudged me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that whole part.
Yeah, I do too.
I could go either way on this. Which way are you going?
I guess it doesn't really matter, but I feel like I've got to lean at Magnum Force again.
Yeah,
and which killed because I really do think that the antagonist is good in Dirty Harry. I do. That kind of rubs me wrong, but then when I think about it, I'm like, okay, it's not. I mean, that's probably how it's probably better that way, because if you don't look at him as a menace, it's that much scarier.
Yeah.
And he is just off his rocker.
Well, this is one we can tie on. Then I think I'm gonna go Dirty Harry.
I will say that the cops, I do like that they're, the crooked cops, they're such good shots.
Yeah,
like it makes them a big threat.
Yeah,
really.
How's he going to take all these guys down?
Yeah, with being such good shots and being internal, and you obviously you find out as later the lieutenant was the one that tipped him off. So we got to tie. We'll just tie the last one. It doesn't matter anyways. The Magnum Force is going to take the win on this, and I think that's pretty respectable.
Yeah,
Dirty Harry is great. You need to watch it if you haven't seen it. Magnum Force is I think just a little bit better.
Yep.
But both of them really comparable. Both of them worth watching for sure.
Yeah. Magnum Force is my favorite of the two. You look online at all the ratings and stuff, they say Dirty Harry's a little bit better. So, I mean, I guess we're taking the action and
I guess it depends on what you're in the mood for too. That's a good point. If you want a little more drama in your movie for the night, that's Dirty Harry's the way to go.
Yeah.
If you want a little bit more flavor and a little more action, something with a little bit more moving parts, then Magnum Force. Yeah, both very good movies. So let us know in the comments below what you think of our picks. Let us know what you would pick in the comments, what you think of these two movies. If you have not seen them, like always, go watch them. I don't know if they're on anything at the moment.
I don't think so, unless you buy them like off Fandango or something. But
yeah, they're surely they'd be pretty cheap to rent or buy.
Yeah.
But if you ever get a chance in the near future, definitely check these movies out, especially the first two. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. What do we want to do for the versus next? Have we talked about it?
I think we're going to do Evil Dead 2 versus Army of Darkness. Get a little bit of horror comedy going.
Cool. That'll work.
And I'd also like to announce eventually, maybe during the summer, we're going to do kind of like we did for Seagal, maybe an underrated Eastwood.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't wait to see what Brandon thinks about Play Misty for me and some of those other ones. But so yeah, that'll be coming in the coming months.
Hell yeah. Excited for that. Okay. Well, until next time,
we're out of here.